Hey guys, and welcome back to another one, and I hope you are all okay on that side of the screen as always. Now today I've got here with me the Zidoo X1, which is the latest machine available from Zidoo, and on the past year on the channel we tested out the Zidoo X9, which I'll post a link right over here just in case you want to check that out. Now the X9 is more powerful than the X1, but it's also more expensive, and the X1 it's a budget machine, but although it's a budget machine it has some interesting features. So if you are looking for something that doesn't need to drive high-end gaming, but on the other hand you want to be able to play 4K video files, then maybe the X1 is the answer for you. That being said, let's go for the video. Hope that you enjoy it, and I'll see you in a few seconds. So here we are with the latest machine from Zidoo, which is the Zidoo X1 that features the quad-core CPU Allwinner H3, the Mali 400 GPU, 1GB of DDR3 RAM and 8GB of NAND flash storage. Regarding the unboxing experience, once we open the package, on the top we will find, as we can see on screen, the Zidoo X1, a power adapter, one HDMI cable, infrared remote control and a quick user guide. Now, taking a closer look at the Zidoo X1, it has a small form factor in a nice looking grey plastic shell. At the front, all we'll see is a very dim red light when the device is off, which changes to blue when we turn the device on. On the sides, all we'll see is a very small Zidoo logo on the right side, and at the back we will find all the necessary ports, being the DC in, two USB 2.0 ports, one microSD card slot, Ethernet connection, HDMI output and AV out. Regarding launchers, this is the default launcher pre-installed on the Zidoo X1, which has a very clean look and very easy to use. We will also have the option to install the Frisbee launcher, which is also very simple but with a different look, and of course the very well-known launcher that we have seen on the past on the Zidoo X9, which is the Toy launcher. But of course, if you don't like any of these launchers that we have just seen, you can install any other launcher that you prefer. Regarding the remote included, it is an infrared remote control, and performance-wise it works like any other infrared remote control, which works well for the basic usage, but as I always advise, just get any wireless remote control, which will give us a much better experience. Getting back to the infrared remote control, it has a feature that it's very interesting, at least on my opinion, which is the ability to map 3 keys to our favorite apps so that we can change from app to app just by pressing one button. And as an example, I mapped Kodi, Google Search and Beach Buggy, and as you can see on screen, it's very handy and worked really great. And in terms of firmware updates, the X1 has online updates capability, which is great in my opinion, but unfortunately at the time of testing it wasn't working. So I had to manually update to the latest version, which was actually really simple. I didn't have to connect the PC to the box. All I need to do was to download the files from the Zidoo website and update it with the built-in tool. Nonetheless, hope that this feature is fixed soon. Regarding resolution, the X1 will go up to 4K at 30Hz, and jumping to some benchmarks, we got on Diskspeed test 18 MB on reads and 7 MB on writes. And to better evaluate this result, here's an example of opening and closing Kodi to check out the responsiveness of the X1. And testing out the internet connection through a Powerline adapter, on Wi-Fi we are getting roughly 40 megabits per second on download and 18 megabits per second on upload, while on the Ethernet connection we are getting roughly 81 megabits per second download and 20 megabits per second upload. Which, by the way, the Powerline adapters that I'm using at this moment are the Devolo Powerline adapter kit with gigabit connection and Wi-Fi AC. And if you want to check a full review, it's available on the channel. Just check out the YouTube card on the right top corner of this video. Moving along with benchmarks, on Geekbench 3 we got a single core score of 317 and a multi-core score of 862. On Antuntu roughly 16,000, 3D Mark score iStorm Extreme 1450, and finally on Epic Citadel we got an average score of 39.5 frames per second, but as we can see on screen the machine is forcing the benchmark to run at 720 and then upscaling to 1080. Now, in terms of gaming, the X1 has the Mali 400, so we cannot expect this to be a gaming machine, and it's not targeted at that, it's targeted at video playback. Nonetheless, it will be able to play light games like Beach Buggy just fine, no problems at all. Just don't expect to play nothing above this kind of game. And one more thing that I would like to point out here is that usually I use the iPad and 9028 gamepad, but at the moment of the recording, the X1 has Bluetooth disabled, and I even tried to install an app to try and enable Bluetooth, but unsuccessfully. So for these tests, I was using a USB gamepad, which is at the moment the Logitech F710. Now, moving along to the video playback capabilities, the X1 comes with Kodi 14.2 pre-installed and works fine, but I also tested out the latest version available from Kodi at the time of the recording, of course, which is version 15 Eyes on God, and the results were exactly the same. Now, in terms of playback, I've had some mixed and a bit confusing results. On one hand, 1080p files work just fine, both Big Bug Bunny and Tears of Steel, even fast forwarding or rewinding the X1 was very responsive, but on the other hand, on 4K playing Big Bug Bunny, I got a lot of frame dropping, making it unwatchable. But on Tears of Steel at 4K, which is much heavier than Big Bug Bunny, and some machines really struggle to play, the X1 played it just fine with a very smooth playback. So my conclusion here is that the X1 will be able to play any file, but it will also need some tweaking on the firmware to be able to play all kind of files. By the way, Big Bug Bunny and Tears of Steel were played under Creative Commons 3.0, and all rights due are down below on the video description. And to finish up this review, here we are with the mirroring test, and for that I'm using the integrated app EasyCast, and the results both on the iPhone 4S and on the iPad mini with Retina display were great on mirroring and also on streaming with a very smooth playback. And finally, streaming from the Imac, which has all our photo library, went really smooth as well, being able to pass the 3 tests that I usually do on all machines, which are the magazine style slideshow, sliding panels and vintage prints. And these tests just means that it's totally capable of handling high bitrate files from computers, either laptops or desktops. So in conclusion, guys, things that I did like the most were the nice looking design with a refreshing look, the smooth video playback in both 1080 and 4K, the responsiveness of the X1, capable of streaming high bitrate files through AirPlay, and finally it's rooted from factory. On the other hand, things that I did like the less, it will need some work on the firmware to fix the online updates, the Bluetooth that at the moment of the recording is not available, some apps like Epic Citadel forced at 720, and finally 4K video playback with some particular files was not smooth. And I really hope that these are fixed soon, and if they are, I will make sure as usual to update this particular video right over here. And that is it regarding this Zidoo X1 overview. Hope that you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did so, don't forget that thumbs up over there. My name is Roberto Jorge, and as always, I'll see you on the next one.